So just looking at the practice again, press that there. Let me get this out of the way. So looking at the practice, I obviously went back to the a sort of Roman capital A. Don't underestimate how important it is to know the proportions of the Roman capitals, because the capitals come from the Roman capitals. And in order to work with them properly, you need to understand the proportions. You see some people doing a weighted stroke on the first stroke of the A. Historically, this doesn't gel well with the structure of the script, because an A has a hairline stroke and then a weighted stroke. If you have a weighted stroke and a weighted stroke, it destabilizes the balance of the letter. So this is a modern affectation. If you are using a weighted stroke at the front, I'm not saying it's wrong. I am saying it's a different kind of script. So it is not sort of a traditional historical or traditional copperplate script. It's more of a contemporary pointed pen variation. Understanding how to balance that kind of thing is really important. I looked at the structure that I developed for the manual, which is the line of universal beauty and the connective stroke, as you saw. I'll just flip this around. As you saw in this part of the exercise. So here we see a line that is at 50 degrees, and we see a line that's at 55 degrees. So the letter A is not both on the 55, because if it was both on the 55, it just wouldn't work. We see some variations here. So here I'm looking at the variations that we have with different types of A's. I've also done a rounded top, but notice my pointed tops, and I've also done a squared off top. So it's a full width structure. But notice the difference between, let's get this a little bit closer. Notice the difference between how far down the hairline stroke is. And what you'll find is the further down the hairline stroke starts, the more elegant the letter looks. So if you want to get something that has a lot more light inside the top, you want to keep that shape working. The other problem that I looked at was this. Lots of people do this. They go and up and over and bounce and up and under and up and bounce. And this makes your letter look like it's leaning this way. So by shortening the overhang, see how narrow that is? It's just a little over. Stop, hairline into pressure. That's your full width there. Release, hairline up. So when you change the relationship of this, you get a completely different shape. This has a tendency to get bigger, to feel bigger, to open out a little bit more. So that relationship between the 50 and the 55 disappears. And of course, when I'm practicing, one of the things I also practice is how the tool works. The nib, the ink, and the paper. So yesterday I used some Canson paper. Today I'm using some reflex paper. And the ink I'm using is a Monteverde amethyst ink. And on this paper, there's a little bit of bleed. So it's important to also, if you're going to practice, be conscious of the practice. It's not just about one thing. You can kill 2 or 3 birds with one stone. You just need to be a little bit conscious about it. And yesterday somebody posted that, she liked the comment that, practice carefully. In the manual, I also say practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if you're practicing badly, you're only going to be reinforcing the bad practice. Be conscious of the practice. Be conscious of what you're doing. Double check the practice. If you are struggling with the practice and you don't know what's going wrong, I would suggest you post it and ask somebody to look at it, or start practicing with a friend. or join the PA Scribe Calligraphy classes group on Facebook. We have some really aggressive practicing going on and some really robust corrections. So if you feel that you don't like to be told what to do and that your work is wrong and check this, then don't bother to join the group, because the group isn't there to pander to your ego. It's there to try and help you get better. All right, so have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.